My name is Allie, and welcome to the second episode of Funny Fat Friend, a podcast about this bodacious biracial babe trying to find herself in film. We made it to the second episode. TBH didn't think we were gonna, but hey, we're still doing it! Tonight I have two very special guests with me. They are deep friends of the pod. She took the photos, he edited them to create the Funny Fat Friend cover picture you're gazing into as we speak. They are my incredible friends, roommates, and co-parents to our very shitty cat, Matilda. Their names are Mac and Sarah. Thanks for being here in our cold living room.
You're welcome.
Hey, happy to be here.
Alright, Sarah, I'm going to ask you this first.
Oh, man.
Do you...
Individualized questions?
They're not. They're the same question.
Okay.
Do you feel like you're able to see yourself or identify with a lot of characters in the movies you see?
Ooh. I mean, a lot of them are white, so there's that, but there's not a lot of, women like me in film, or just, different women than a stereotype. So I guess kind of, but not really.
Yeah. Mac, I'm asking you second because
Okay.
your answer is more predictable.
As a man who looks like he stepped out of an indie film, the answer to that is a resounding yes.
Yeah, Mac does look like every hero in a Wes Anderson film.
I'm wearing a flannel right now. I have a big mustache and hair down to my shoulders.
Okay, so we're gonna get into our second film. So the second film I picked is one that I was extremely excited to rewatch. It's one near and dear to this household. At our last apartment, there was this weird shed in our little 5-foot backyard. And one day, while snooping around, one of us, who found it?
I think I did.
Okay. Well, Sarah. While Sarah was snooping around
I
in
like
the
snooping.
shed. We did not own the shed. Snooping around in the shed. She came upstairs and brought a dusty old VHS tape of this movie. And we put it on display on the TV stand. And we caught a ghost from it, for sure.
Yeah.
But that VHS tape was the gorgeous classic film Fried Green Tomatoes.
Didn't we leave that?
We
We left
did.
it on the mantle.
Well, yeah, because it was a ghost.
as a gift to the next person.
You know, it's pretty appropriate. It's pretty similar to how the movie opens when Kathy Bates' character goes into the town
Yeah,
and
it's
she
ghost.
sees the ghost of the train coming
Ghost
through.
train?
Yeah, there's a whistle through the shed as
Oh.
you discovered the tape.
So we're very connected to this film spiritually and emotionally. I'll go through some hot, savory, golden facts about the movie real quick. It came out December 27th of 1991, so before all of us existed. It's an adaptation of the novel by the same name. Both the novel and screenplay were written by Fannie Flagg. It had a budget of $11 million, and it made $119 at the box office. It's extremely successful. So that's just the baseline of it. Now we're going to talk about it. Okay, Mac, you already brought up the opening scene where we get Kathy Bates in her car looking at this rickety old sad town. And we get a rogue goat for no reason. There's a shot of a goat running by
yeah.
their...
Was there a goat?
There was a goat.
Ooh. Were there goats in any other part of the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
But
He was
just
not a main character.
Not a
No,
significant
okay.
amount of them, though. And nobody addresses them. But I
Yes,
just
you know.
assume they rented some goats, and they were like, oh my gosh, we only use them in one scene. Throw a goat out.
Yeah, they literally had to, get a goat and
Yeah.
then have somebody there to make
Yeah.
sure it didn't, run away.
They needed it. They needed it.
They
Somehow-
spent money on that goat.
The goat was sustaining the entire town by itself. It was a goat
Wow.
town. Ooh,
Maybe-
goat town.
Maybe a production guy misread the word ghost town.
and then he just had a goat.
But then also only got one goat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be a goat town. It's falling on hard times. There's a train whistle, but no train. There's a lone goat.
One goat.
Broken
running
windows.
Goat town. That's so sad. But Kathy Bates, which I think I'm severely considering making this a podcast just about Kathy Bates movies to see if one of them is gonna be, she's gonna be in brown face. I don't know, and I can identify with her.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh no,
Oh, no.
tasteful.
We're gonna-
Tasteful
We're gonna
brown
dig up it.
face.
We're gonna cancel Kathy Bates.
Oh, no.
I hope not, because
Kathy
Kathy Bates was
seems-
the best part of this
I
movie.
love
to me.
her.
She's
Yes.
a delight.
I do love her. There was no good way to mean that. I apologize, Kathy Bates. I just really want you to be my icon fully. I'm sorry. But they do, like, the second shot of the movie, though, is them, like, going through the town, and they look at the Whistle Stop Cafe, and it's all run down, but you can still see the writing of the names of the pies, and then it cuts to a shot of Kathy Bates, like, drooling.
Yeah,
looking
she's
at
like
these
eating on her
pies.
little
And
candy
eating
bar.
Oh, it was so painful. It was awful. I was like, why you gotta do her like that,
Yeah.
though? Like, jeez. Is there a way to show somebody who is fat and an overeater that isn't, like, outrageous
Cruel.
like that? Yeah, it did seem cruel. It
Yeah.
seemed mean.
Is that a rhetorical question?
I was being genuine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably just
Whatever.
by not making her do it. Yeah, 'cause she
Yeah.
could just be an overeater. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is.
They didn't have to be like, oh, she eats candy bars. Like, it's not, like, necessarily...
And it's an expensive habit.
Yeah, I feel like most people who are, like, overeaters or whatever, it's not, like, candy bars.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but...
But they go, it's her and her trash husband, which
Yeah.
you can tell just by looking at him. He
Fucking
sucks.
Yeah.
He just sucks.
How it goes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
okay.
done it
Oh,
several
no.
times.
Okay.
It's on SoundCloud.
Okay. Dave.
They're
Oh,
coming
that's
for me, yeah. But they go to a nursing home to go meet Ed's aunt who has dementia, and she hates Kathy Bates, which is Evelyn. I'm gonna call her Evelyn, because I actually remember the characters' names in this one.
I don't remember Kathy Bates' name, but I remember some of them.
It's Evelyn.
Okay. Did she just hate Evelyn, or did she also hate what's his name too?
No,
No,
she
it's
would
just
let.
Evelyn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was because she
Did-
knew who he was, but not really who she
Oh,
was.
okay,
You know,
yeah.
because like.
She'd always, like,
Yeah,
throw stuff at her.
there was some like asides where he was like, "You old bitch."
Yeah,
Yeah, he was outrageously mean to her as well.
He was awful.
He's like, you're a snake.
Okay, Ed sucks, but
Yeah.
so
What's
Kathy,
new?
poor Kathy Bates, then goes and just like hangs out in the common area in this
Yeah.
nursing home, and we meet Ninny Threadgood.
Ninny.
Ninny.
Oh man, and right from the jump, she is a style icon. Oh my gosh, homegirl is wearing beat up Converse, like knee high rainbow socks, and ankle length nightshirt. Oh.
I did write down that her lavender hair was iconic.
Oh yeah, she
I was
is.
pretty into that.
Everything about Ninny Threadgood. Let's for Halloween see all the phases of Ninny Threadgood. Every outfit she wears.
Okay.
But she's amazing. And she comes in so hot too. She's just like, hello, I'm the belle of the ball and I'm talking to you. And immediately launches into our movie. There's not a lot of like lead in at
Yeah.
all to this.
She's like, let me tell you this story.
Yeah, so it's like it is pretty like heavy-handed. The frame of this story is pretty like clunky. I think
Yeah.
that's where it kind of gets a little. It's a
What's
little-
all those meowing?
but it feels a little clunky to me where she just launches in, but she is like sweet and charming, and so it's kind of like, okay, yeah, it's a person wanting to tell you a story. I love volunteering at nursing homes and getting to see your stories all day. So it does, I guess, kind of relatable, sure. I don't know. It's the 80s. Maybe that happened more. We get introduced to Iggy.
Iggy.
Do y'all remember what Iggy is? That
It's Imogene.
Imogene?
It's short for Imogene.
Oh, Iggy.
Iggy. Sounds like itchy, but no.
No. Oh, bless Iggy.
Because she's always running around in them trees.
She's
She's itchy.
literally running around in them trees.
Yeah.
Well, she does, yeah.
That is her introduction as a character. She's in a tree.
Well, no. We meet her family first, and they're getting ready for this big wedding. And Imogene won't come down, and she comes out, and she's a little tomboy, and is wearing this little dress. Her little knees are all beat up. We get a very tight shot of some beat up
Yeah.
child
Great
knees.
knees.
And I think it's her her brother, her little brother, says something to her about, oh, I see London, I see France.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Classic. That would set me to 100 of anger.
Pushes anybody's buttons, you know?
And homegirl comes swinging halfway down the steps, launches herself at this
She's fucking
boy.
scrappy.
She is
Yeah.
wildly scrappy. And so she tears him up and then runs and gets to the tree.
Mhm.
I mean, it was like a tree house. It was like nice. It wasn't like just.
A bare bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary tree.
Yeah.
She has to cut her whole body to get up. No, yeah. It's an established thing. But, and then we meet Buddy, her older brother, who's just gorgeous and lovely.
Too good for the world, buddy.
Literally
Literally.
too good.
Yeah.
You know
For the
from the
world.
start that something cannot last
It
here.
was, yeah. But we meet Buddy, and we figure out it's the Depression era, but somehow they are throwing this massive wedding.
It's
And
the Depression, but that
they're-
never really matters
Right?
in the story.
Yeah, it doesn't at all to these people.
It's fun.
We never find out what they do, like what her parents. We meet Papa for like a moment, and he's just like, "I love my daughters."
Yeah, and then he like gives him a loan later.
yeah. And I don't know anything about what her
We
family
don't know
does.
what he
Money.
does.
They just do.
They do money.
Yep.
Old
Oil.
Southern money.
They're oil.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's what,
Probably.
probably.
It is. It's Alabama.
Alabama.
Yep. But they're having this giant wedding. We also meet Ruth, who is like staying with them for the summer, doing something. I don't remember.
Banging body.
Oh, she is.
Yeah,
She is.
she's-
Well, they're just kissing
They're just-
under
yeah.
umbrellas.
Okay.
I love a good umbrella in the day kiss.
Yeah.
Yep. What was she doing there? Like, I don't even
She
know.
was doing, she was
Hanging
doing
out.
something. I don't remember. Something with the Bible, probably. I don't know. I think was she working in the school? That's later.
Maybe she's going. Well,
Maybe
I
she
don't know.
doesn't. I don't know. Whatever.
Teaching them kids about the Lord.
Yeah. But Buddy and Ruth are in love. They go on a walk. It's very precious. She loses her hat. Buddy dies.
How did she get over that? Like, if I just fucking held onto my hat, Buddy would be alive.
Yeah, she does
How
it.
do you-
She doesn't get over it, Sarah.
I know, but like, I don't know.
That's a lifelong trauma she carries with her.
Oh,
But we
man.
do. Buddy gets his shoelaces get stuck in the
his
train
his
track.
foot gets like
His
stuck
shoe.
between
Oh,
the
right.
track
Yeah.
and
Right,
the
and it like and-
wood part or whatever.
Uh-huh, and
Because
the
he
train
tried to get
goes.
his shoe off. He almost got his shoe
Yep. And
off.
that is intense. We are
Very intense.
not even a full 10 minutes into the movie, and there's it's
Tragedy.
tragedy. And it's really sad. And then we go back to present day after Buddy dies, and Kathy Bates is like, I can't believe Buddy died. She's speaking for us, I guess.
I could believe it. I believed it immediately. You've all seen a movie before. Kathy Bates, I guess, has not. She doesn't know.
Evelyn has never seen
There's
it.
a wonderful, perfect character, you know.
Oh.
Cannot ask.
But then they're done being in the nursing home. Piece of shit Ed comes in and is like, it's time to go and I'll watch my baseball game. Hey Ed, I hate him. so much.
Perfect.
So, yeah, somebody sync up that audio. And they leave. And then we find out that their marriage is not great. Surprise.
Wow.
Yeah,
I was
no
gonna
kidding.
say. Imagine that.
No way. Kathy Bates is like going to these marriage
Like,
classes
yeah.
by herself with
Yeah.
other women. It's like
Yeah. It seems correct for like the time.
for the
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
Did Cosmo magazine like not exist yet or something? It felt like it was a Cosmo cover, but
Yeah.
in real life,
Yeah. Like-
sitting.
50 ways to please your man.
Exactly. Yeah, and her friend, which I forget her friend's name, it's written down somewhere later, I think. But that woman's accent is the most gorgeous thing I've ever heard in my life. It's so high, her voice is so high, and she has like a slight lisp and a deep southern accent. It's an incredible combination. And she's so feminist. She just
Yeah.
whispers in Kathy Bates' ear, saying how dumb it is. And that she heard somewhere that you know, you're supposed to like go dressed all in cellophane at the front door and meet your man. And then we get this weird fantasy sequence because I don't think it's real. It doesn't actually happen, but it's cuts to Kathy Bates with 15 boxes of cellophane.
Yeah, there's a lot of cellophane.
And
it's
they're
like all the way to her ankles too.
Yeah. And they're like, but all the boxes on the table also aren't empty. It's just like she like just start opening them, I guess. But it is. It's like a mid-calf like sleeved dress with a shawl, like a hat. I don't know. If she met me at the door like that, I would be confused. I don't think it's sexy. I think I'd be concerned that she didn't have like baby powder on in there and it was too hot and it was nasty.
I'd be worried she'd be doing one of those weird things where people like lose water weight and they just wrap their stomach in like that shit and then you're like, oh, lost 5 pounds and
it's
like
so
it's
awful.
just you sweated it out.
Yeah,
you didn't really
come
lose
back
anything.
when you drink enough water.
Yeah, it's not for you. You're losing water.
Yeah, those tummy teas. Kathy Bates got Instagram scammed by a tummy tea.
Where's Jamila Jamil? Help her.
But yeah, so she does that, and Ed comes home and is like, "What's
What
wrong
the
with
fuck?
you? You're crazy, you crazy woman." And it's like, and we get brought back into the present of her sitting there.
Does she have another flashback like that? Or not flashback, but just like a thing where she imagines something? We actually see it. Like I don't remember that happening.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's the only
it's
one.
just like not a thing.
It's just a weird.
It's just weird to like just
sequence.
pop it in there. Like if it's something that her character is gonna do, you think it would be like a thing that happens more than once. But it's just like a one-time thing.
Yeah, it's weird. No, it is. It's totally weird. I don't know. It's obvious that they just shot that scene and they just liked
like,
it and they just wanted to still include it. It's that way. Then she comes out of that and then we move on and they go back to visit again. And the aunt still hates her, so she goes and sits in the waiting room and Ninny tells her that she's just there because she's there with her friend who needed to move into the nursing home, who was having a hard time and didn't want to be alone. Yeah, we never meet her. And so that's kind of like odd, and you feel sad, and you're like, this doesn't feel
I
right.
wondered constantly through the movie whether or not Ninny was just crazy.
Yeah. All these people
Until we like met the friend's actual daughter, I was convinced that Ninny had invented this friend.
Or somebody had just like told her that because she was like she needed to be.
She needed to go. Yeah, they both needed to go. Evelyn, Kathy Bates ask about what else happens to these people, and we jump back into the story, but we're like 15 years later because Iggy has grown up and has also wild style. Which we'll connect later, I think.
I think she was wearing like jean shorts and like mid-calf boots and like
at
a
one
white weird
point.
shirt.
Yes, at one point she is. When she flashes back, I wrote it down what she was wearing. She's wearing a linen romper, a white linen romper.
Ooh.
Yep, and a black open vest.
Yeah. It is just like a very gay Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, and with like a belt, and it's belted.
Yeah.
Just that little edge of femininity. We gotta belt it, give her a waist. And it is.
I think that was like the direction for the costuming department.
Lesbian Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, just it's like an adult lesbian dressed as Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, that's it. And they talk about how Iggy's never been the same since Buddy died, and then she just like has moved away from the family, is doing all these gambling things, and just being one of the guys, really. So Ruth comes back to visit their family, to stay with their family again, and this time she is like helping at the church. Like that's why she came, was to like be a teacher at the church. And when Ruth and Iggy see each other, it is love. It is undeniable. They are in love. It is heavy. And Iggy's mother is like trying to get Ruth to fix Iggy, I guess.
Yeah.
Like get her back.
Yeah,
Like, her
she's,
mom
like,
like
hang
brought
out with her,
Ruth
yeah.
there to seduce Iggy.
Yeah.
That's bring her back into society.
No, it's her special friend, Max.
It's her
Special friend.
friend.
But Iggy finally gives in and is like, fine, we can hang out, I guess. You know that persistent friend.
Is it?
Jump
When
the train.
someone comes to your bar, drags you out, takes all your money.
Literally.
Yeah. Is it
They
also
can
weird
hang out.
to fall in love with someone who is like 7 years old when you were already pretty much an adult?
Ooh,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah,
I was
that
thinking
age
about
gap.
that.
Is that-
I
yeah,
didn't
what
think
is
of
their
that
age gap? What is it?
I don't know.
Because Buddy was like an adult man.
He seemed like he was like 16.
He was probably
Yeah.
in his teens,
Yeah.
yeah.
She was probably like 14, he was 16, and Iggy was
Ah.
10 or 11.
It was
they were
really
probably
hard to
like
gauge the ages in
seven
that
to
movie.
10 years apart.
Ooh,
Probably.
I was saying like 5. Maybe 5 to 6
Okay,
years
that's
apart.
less weird.
That is less weird.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, also Ruth was like into
'Cause
her
they used-
brother.
They just used the same actress,
Yeah,
but they used like an
exactly.
actual child next to a full
Yeah,
grown
it
woman.
was
I think
really-
that
yeah,
just makes
that's
it weird.
what makes
It was
it
just
even
like the
weird.
same actress.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just-
that made it
yeah,
weird.
they didn't really make her look any younger at all.
just
No, they
Yeah.
didn't
Stuck
try.
her there.
Yeah.
It's because it's not actually a love story, you guys. You remember?
We will discuss that.
Yeah, we will discuss.
Homegirl wrote a paragraph about that.
Ooh, I found an article about it.
Ooh, we have much to discuss. But okay, so Ruth and Iggy hang out. Oh yeah, they get on a train and throw cans at people.
That's one way of putting it.
That's what the homeless want. You drive past your local.
That's where we
homeless-
see the depression.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
depression is.
I think it's because they're like rich Southerners. That's why you don't like. They're like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
we're
it didn't
fine.
affect them at
Yeah.
all. But yeah, it made me uncomfortable. I wrote down throwing cans at children makes me uncomfortable.
Yes.
But the Robin Hood aspect is nice. I also wanted to know how, because Sarah, you're a film expert.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to
For
know
sure.
how they shot that scene.
You know,
Was it just people on treadmills?
I was genuinely also like thinking about that while I was watching it because the shots of the individual people look so weird.
Yeah, they're very
I
disconnected.
mean, it's like
and
obvious
don't look
that you
real.
know they clearly didn't like really film them like running next to
Ah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
Like I don't know what I think that they filmed them running in place, like
Oh,
just
not
like
even
doing
on a
this and going
treadmill?
because they're like children. They're like 5-year-old kids and they're just like looking at the train like
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're not
And it
moving
just
at all.
it just looks weird. I mean, it's
Yeah.
also not like obviously practical to like shoot people running next
Yeah,
to
that's
a
why we got a
train.
ghost train in the first scene.
Yeah,
'Cause
Yeah.
it's not because there
Train
wasn't a
effects are
train
expensive. Yeah.
or the ghost.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did. It was weird.
Yeah, it was very oddly like cut together.
Yeah, but then that's them falling further in love because Ruth sees Iggy is a wonderful person, being kind.
Ruth has never thought about poor people before.
Oh,
Itchy.
I like that. I like when AG was like, "I don't teach you this in church, do they?"
Right.
Jeez. Ruth was like a very boring character at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she did almost nothing
Yeah.
for the majority of the
But
movie.
the love, I mean,
But-
that's a pretty white woman. That is.
Yeah.
That's it. Jeez. But and then they're still hanging out into the morning, and yeah, Iggy is a hot female bee charmer.
Yeah.
I was just like, I just love female bee charmers. Everybody watch Honeyland.
Honeyland.
I loved it so much. And I found out that she did that for real.
I was gonna say, yeah, she actually like the stunt double was like, "I don't want to do this," and she was like, "I'll fucking do
wow,
it."
That's
Exactly.
incredible.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
actress actually did it.
Actually did that, and
Good
that
for
is
her.
real. That shot is for
Yeah.
real. All those bees on her.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I was like, "How the hell did they do this?"
I'm so confused.
It's because it was real.
It's because it's real.
Wow.
And then so this way they've been together like a full 24 hours or something, and are happy and the best lesbian pals that have ever existed, icons. Then it's Ruth's birthday. They have like a fun birthday party. Ruth gets trashed. She's like, I've never drank before and I've never played poker. Yay! She gets
Let's do it all.
hammered, and then I just wrote, whoa my gosh, drunk lesbians in a pond.
I wrote while they were
Pretty
playing
accurate.
poker. I wrote down there's no straights in either of those hands. That
so
rowdy.
that was like my one note for this whole movie.
Oh, yeah, and then Ruth like kisses Iggy on the cheek, and then
Oh, you can see
Iggy
Iggy's
just
heart
takes
go
that.
break.
Yeah, it's like
Face,
this
Oh,
yes.
haunted, this
Yes.
haunted look.
Oh my god, it was amazing.
It is really incredible. It is deep. It is so deep. And then we passingly meet Frank Bennett. Like he comes out of a car or something, and he's immediately gross and creepy, and says something creepy to Iggy, just like, "Oh, you hot lady" or something.
He says that too.
Yeah, he's gross. You can tell, and he doesn't say much. And we find out that Ruth is gonna marry him, and then that ends the little segment for that part of the past story, and we go back to the present. I don't like how it's chopped up. I don't like it. I don't like the frame.
Super awkwardly done.
Yeah, it's like you should have just done it all. Just done it all. I'd prefer, I don't know. But I also really love Kathy Bates. I wanted her to have.
Yeah, the stories also don't have a whole lot in common other than Kathy Bates just being more assertive.
Yeah,
because she
she's
learns
learning from the story.
That's really the only connection.
Yeah, I think it could have just been the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Kathy Bates goes to a new class with her feminist friend, but it's called Reclaiming Our Power as Women. This feminism in the 80s. Woof. That's tough. I just wrote, this is in the vagina monologue. They have not updated the vagina monologue. And a lot of times, literally just we're gonna look at our vaginas now.
Look at your vagina with a mirror.
Everybody straddle your mirror. And Kathy Bates gets overwhelmed and is like, I need help with my girdle, and
runs in the bathroom, hides in the bathroom.
I guess that scene was for comedy. It's
Yeah, I was like, there was a couple scenes where it just kind of cut, and I was just like, oh, okay, I guess that scene is over now.
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
Too much.
Yeah.
It just shows that she's she's at least trying to figure stuff out, and so that's cool, but they're so odd. But it also sheds this negative weird light on that class of it was probably a good class. It just made it really off-putting, and they made fun of it.
Just because she felt awkward.
Yeah, because it is. I don't know. So
yeah, it was hard to tell the movie's stance on contemporary in that time feminism.
Yeah,
you know, because it played a lot of it for laughs. That scene and Kathy Bates's monologue about machine gunning genitals.
Oh yeah,
which was an incredible delivery, but also
yeah,
definitely a dig.
Yeah,
at contemporary feminism.
Yeah, and then I write Evelyn's husband sucks. Oh right, because he comes home because she tries to make him a nice dinner. She wants to hang out with him. Meets him at the door with his little Budweisers.
Why does she have 4 of them?
Because he has a problem.
He needs a lot.
He's crushing them. He drinks them so quickly that she has to keep them.
Did she have to hold all 4 of them
at
the door?
It was odd because she had them all between
I think
her
it was
feet.
just trying to be she's a doting wife, whatever. But it was why do you got 4 of them, girl?
Do you think the theme of this movie is that men are trash? That's
I hope
my
so.
question. At that
That's what
point.
I got out of it.
If the men aren't bad, they're either gonna die, buddy,
Yeah.
or they are racially oppressed, Big George, or cast out by society. Which I don't remember that
Smokey
band.
Lonesome?
Yeah, there we go.
Smokey Lonesome?
Yeah.
How can you forget
I'm
Smokey
so
Lonesome?
You forgot about Smokey?
I just forgot his name.
Everybody forgets about Smokey.
Oh my god.
Then we go back to the nursing home. And I do enjoy, we can tell the passing of time by the decorations in the common room. Because at this point it's Christmas decorations and stuff like that. And that's pretty cute. We jump back into the story. Ruth gets married and moves away. Iggy doesn't go to the wedding, but just stands in the bushes watching them and follows them to their home in Georgia. She drives and then stands in the bushes there and watches them. And it's very, very creepy.
They're really setting up the murder plot. That's what they.
Yeah,
because we already know that she's accused of murdering this man.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, we do find that out.
Yeah,
at the very beginning that, and we find out Frank's abusive. We see a big shiner on her face, and Iggy's upset back at home, and this woman who has one line in the whole movie says Ruth's a grown woman and knows what's best for her.
Oh yeah, the woman who's like always there when they're playing poker or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, that woman.
Such a scary thing. It's
Yeah.
so scary. But like, is how people feel.
I was gonna
or,
say
yeah.
that's how people think,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but
It's really
you know.
scary. But also, like, it is. You can't force somebody out of like that situation. Also, it's like
Yeah.
there are a lot of things going on in their mind and with themselves and in the situation as to why someone might not leave.
I know why she went, because Ruth sent the Bible like a.
Oh, that's next. That's after the.
That's after.
It's after she sees her with the shiner and she's
Yeah,
like.
but that's why she goes back.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. We're talking about
We
the
were
same
about to
thing.
get there. We're not.
Sorry.
It's okay. But yeah, Iggy ends up going back. She sent her a message of needing help via a Bible verse.
That was pretty
another.
clever.
Oh yeah, I said that
Yeah.
the writing of that is really incredible.
Yeah.
That's really
In the
interesting.
book of
It's
Ruth,
beautiful.
being like, I'm ready to come back to my people,
Exactly.
and yeah,
That was
like
really.
underlines it.
It got me. Yeah, that was
It's
really good.
And then like her mom, like the mom didn't even necessarily get it. I don't think. Like only Iggy understood. It was
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
I need to go get
It's like,
her.
gotta go. And she takes her brother and Big George to go get Ruth back. And they go pack up the house and stuff, but of course Frank comes home and pushes her down the stairs.
He doesn't just put. He
Yeah,
Spartan kicks her.
He kicks her down
Yeah,
the
he
stairs.
Those stairs.
And she's pregnant,
Yeah.
which is why she's like so upset about it. Which is, makes it even
I-
more horrible.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
she was gonna like lose the baby.
Oh, right? Yeah. It's so scary. But like we don't know about the pregnancy until later or whatever, but that's why like she's really messed up about it. We also get Tawanda. I think this might be the first time Iggy says Tawanda, the amazing Amazon woman. And then Ruth comes back to the whistle stop. They get money and they start the cafe. And we go back to the 80s. Again.
The 80s.
Back to the 80s.
It is a lot of
Again.
flopping around.
It's a lot of back and forth. But Kathy Bates is opening up to Ninny, which it's interesting that it's taken so many times. This is like the third time she's visited her, and it's just now kind of opening up to her about her own life, which is pretty interesting, and is talking about how like she's just like sad and her husband sucks and all that. Ninny says, get yourself some hormones, get out of the house, and get a job. And I'm formally requesting a cross stitch.
It's good advice. You
In
know.
my bedroom. It is. It's great.
Get out of the house, get yourself some hormones, get a job.
Yeah. It is, but it works, man. She does. But we also get insight into Ninny, like Ninny actually opening up as well, like for the first time. Because I hadn't thought about that. About like we don't know a lot about her. She's talking about these other people, and she talks about her son Albert, the only child she ever had, and he was born like developmentally delayed, and they didn't even want her to hold him, but she kept him anyway, and she said he was the love of her life and the best thing that ever happened to her. And he passed away when he was 30, and I just wrote down, we're not even halfway through the movie, and I have cried 3 times. Full, multiple
There's so
tears.
much tragedy in this movie. There really is.
But like I guess there's so much tragedy in life. Like,
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that about it. Is like we're going all in. Like we're giving everybody something. And then it goes back in. There was somebody who was mean to Kathy Bates at the grocery store.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that
that's
he's
like
like
the-
that punk.
Yeah,
That
weird,
punk kid with the
weird-
mullet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they called her a dumb fat bitch.
Yeah.
And then her little grocery bag breaks and she cries.
having a bad day.
And then there's
It's
those
tough.
women. Oh no, that's later. The two like young, like 80s jazzercise women
Yeah.
who are like, we're young and hot.
Let's face it, we're younger and faster. tractor.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Why?
Then she rams their car
Yeah,
6 times.
Yeah. Whoever got in charge of rewriting the dialogue for both those scenes has never heard a real person speak before.
Face
Oh,
it,
man.
lady.
That's gonna make sense at the end. But we go back into the story. Ruth has the baby. The baby survives, has the baby. Buddy Jr. And when they start the whistle stop, they employ the family cook, Sipsy, and her son Big John, which we never really address before this point. The rich family having these black people work for them, which of course it's pre-civil rights, it's the Depression, it's yeah, they're around, but they're the only people of color we've seen to this point. It's not like there's other workers around, so that was a little odd. And it was especially odd that they came and worked at the cafe with them. I guess they were done working at the house.
The treatment of people of color in this movie was a little weird at all
Yeah.
times. They acknowledged the racism, but the characters were still sort of just accessories
Yeah.
to the plot and the white characters.
And Big George's character trait is that he is big and that he makes good barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't go into either one of them.
Yeah, Sipsy's really just kind of a mammy character.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
exactly that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because what we see Iggy was living with her at her house when she was not part of the family and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just I ain't your mama and all that. Ugh. But okay. There is a scene with the Klan though, because they're employed. We see the Klan comes to the whistle stop and is upset that they're Big George is eating at the counter, and they get upset and they're terrible. And we find out that Frank is one of the Klan.
Not enough things wrong with Frank.
No,
Every
not
single one.
enough.
He has to be absolute garbage.
Yeah, through and through.
Everywhere.
Zero redeeming qualities for Frank. We also meet, what is his name?
Oh, Smokey Lonesome?
Smokey Lonesome. Also, he comes into the cafe and
An
he's having
alcoholic.
Yeah,
He's having the shakes.
Yeah, he's got the shakes.
Iggy gives him another bottle of booze to calm his shakes down.
Yeah.
Which they
Also-
didn't know doctors back then. It's fine.
They just didn't know
They
doctors.
didn't know.
Didn't have a
They
wand.
couldn't get him some Gatorade or
Ooh,
anything.
ooh. But he's just this sweet, sweet old man. And then we find out that Frank is missing. And it's pretty odd, because we get the scene of him Frank showing up after his little Klan rally at the back of the whistle stop where there's a camp of the people. I don't understand. I don't really get what is the setup of where they are. I don't understand the layout of whistle stop. But it's behind the cafe. There's kind of where he makes the barbecue and stuff, and then there's kind of their house, a little shack house thing. And Smokey's in there with the baby and Sipsy.
Sipsy's there, and the little girl who is Sipsy's younger sister, daughter.
I don't know.
We never get an explanation as to who
No,
that child
but
is.
Frank comes and Smokey tries to stop him, but can't because he is just a sweet old man that is not as strong. And he tries to take the baby, and then it kind of cuts.
There's just a frying pan
and
to
then
the back of the head.
Not yet, Mike.
Not
No, you
yet.
see that.
You see the frying pan?
Yeah, you see the
Oh,
frying pan.
I
Oh,
don't
I
know.
didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
Well, y'all blinked.
We blinked.
Wow.
We all blinked.
Sorry that I
Can't be
blinked.
blinking in this movie.
Woo, gotta tape them eyes open.
Yeah.
So okay, we see the frying pan and then it blinks. Then it blinks.
Then it blinks. That's cutting. Is
Hey.
just blinking.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's the
There's
scene
an
of
editing book
Iggy
called
and
The Blink of
Big,
an Eye.
Ooh, ooh.
Iggy and Big George. There's a scene of them running through the night, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's the frying pan, and then you don't know anything else.
Hell yeah, man.
Can we talk about for a second the Klan person who just comes into their house with a torch?
Oh
Just
yeah.
an
He's
open
like,
flame.
"Oh,
She's like,
Frank, it's
we
time
gotta,
to go."
We gotta go, Frank! And he just walks out, and nobody was like, get that
Nope.
fucking torch out of my house.
Nope. Nope.
It-
This is Alabama.
They were wild.
Well, it's scary. Yeah. But yeah, and then we find out Frank is missing. And then Kathy Bates becomes a whole ass queen. Is what's happening.
Yeah.
And starts tearing up her house and Her husband is still trash. You know, she's getting better, and that accounts for something. Like, steps forward are steps forward. Yeah, we get those women.
Yeah, she hits their car.
She hits their car a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets a job and she hits their car a lot because they're mean. And she
Because
can.
they're younger and faster.
But she's older and has better insurance.
Exactly. That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, she just like starts standing up for herself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which is
Yeah,
nice.
she's empowered.
Yeah.
Tawanda, she
Wanda.
yells that. It's
Who,
She
hold
does
on.
yell that.
Who is Wanda?
Tawanda,
Tawanda. It's one.
the amazing Amazon woman. I don't know. Maybe it's a character.
I have no idea.
Because that is what Iggy says the first when Tawanda
okay.
gets said. She's like jumping into the car after rescuing Ruth and is like, Tawanda, the amazing Amazon woman.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I probably should have
I don't
looked
know
it
that
up, but
reference, yeah.
maybe we can look it up. Mac, get on the case.
I don't have my
I got it.
It's okay.
Okay, Sarah.
Sarah's gonna look it up while we keep moving forward.
This movie came out before I was born.
Same, almost. Okay. They find Frank's car in the pond, right? So a guy comes to investigate, and they pull out the car in the pond, and Iggy and Big George get arrested for murder.
Yeah. A very sweaty detective.
Yeah.
He's so sweaty.
It's nasty.
All the time.
Yeah. But the sheriff is the man who Grady. It's Grady.
Yeah.
Which is he was in love with Iggy, or still
Mhm.
is in love with Iggy. He says that they can just blame it all on Big George so that she doesn't get in trouble.
Wait, I literally wrote down what he said when he was like, "We're talking murder of a white man. Someone has to pay, and no one wants to hang a woman."
Yeah.
Like I was like,
Yeah.
because I was like,
Yeah, because the clan
Like-
comes like ready to lynch him or ready to like
yeah, but it's
string
like
him up.
like that like mentality is like still exists because
Oh,
obviously
yeah.
racism still exists, but it's just
Yeah.
like, oh fuck.
It's really scary. But then the preacher lies for them. Right? We only
Mhm.
interact with the
Yeah.
preacher like once or twice before, and that's at the beginning of the movie when Iggy is using a mirror to blind him during the wedding when she's like 7.
Oh. Classic.
What a star.
And then when like Ruth is like working with him. And but yeah, the preacher gives them an alibi and
it's a sin. He's going to hell now.
no, he
He
doesn't.
gave up.
No,
he didn't
lied.
swear on the Bible.
He didn't
It
swear on
wasn't
the
the
Bible.
Bible. It's like
He
Moby
used
Dick or
Moby
something.
Dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He swore on. He was like, "That's how it works."
Yeah, he was like, I didn't lie.
I didn't lie.
I swore on
It's
Moby
only-
Dick and
it's
not the
still-
Bible.
No, it's only lying if
The
it's
Ten
on
Commandments
the Bible.
don't say unless you swear on Moby Dick. There's no
Mhm.
asterisk there.
Well, he gets to interpret the text for you. All right. So he lies for them, gives them an alibi, and the judge throws the case out. He gets mad at the prosecutor for trying to still be like, no, they did it. And he's just like, no. This man was a drunk and everyone hates him. He died.
Yeah, I don't get.
Yeah,
Why was
I
that
don't think
detective
it-
looking for him for 5 years?
Yeah, that
Like, who gives a shit? It's like,
Yeah. He
Give
came
up.
from Georgia to investigate, and but it gets thrown out. Then back at the nursing home, we find out that Ninny's house has been torn down, and so she doesn't have somewhere to go when she thinks she does. That she's just staying there with her friend and is gonna go back home once her friend gets settled, but her friend's not doing well. And we meet like the daughter of the woman she's staying with, and she's like, "No, they tore her house down," which is wild. Like,
Yeah, I think that's
how would you-
illegal.
Yeah.
You can't tear down a house while someone lives in it.
Yeah, it's not. Because she doesn't have kids. Like Albert died. Was her only
Yeah.
kid. Her husband died.
This movie is also a commentary on the rights of the elderly.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
lies to Ninny. Nobody
Jeez.
tells her
Yeah,
that
no
her
one
yeah,
house
knows.
is
she was
torn
like,
down.
I'm old. I'm not like a child or whatever she
Yeah.
said. It's really sad.
And then her friend dies. Her friend passes away, and Ninny's there alone. And Kathy Bates tells her husband that they are letting Ninny move in with them. And he's not having it, but Kathy Bates is strong and gets what she wants. And so she tells Ninny that asks her to move in, and it's sweet. And we get like kind of close to the end of the movie, and we find out that Ruth has cancer after the trial. She has cancer and she dies. And Buddy almost dies. That was so unnecessary.
Ugh.
That was wild. Buddy Jr. also gets like stuck on the tracks as a train is coming, but he does not die. He just loses his
Yeah,
arm.
there's a separate God for children, unless you're the original Buddy.
Yeah, unless you're.
He
I
had
guess
aged out, I guess. He hit
16, yeah.
16.
Yeah.
Childhood God was like, I'm looking the other way
Oh
now.
my gosh. Oh,
Let
jeez.
that train come.
Oh jeez. And then the cafe closes. People start moving away. And like it's like the end of the story. But we also, Kathy Bates, Evelyn is like, well, but what happened like to Frank though? But what happened to Frank though? And so we get the full scene of how Frank died. And yeah, Sipsy hits him in the back of the head with a frying pan. And Iggy has Big George make barbecue out of his dead body.
I like that line though. She's like, Big George, you want to boil a hog? He's like, what? It's the middle of the night. And she's like, well, boil a hog, Big George. And he's like, oh, okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the
Well,
barbecue was people.
And
Now
then that
Soylent Green
detective fucking
tomatoes.
eats it.
Yeah, and they
all.
serve it to the detective, and he
Eats
says it's
Frank.
the best pig he's ever had, or whatever.
Best
People.
barbecue food he's ever had.
People are
Yeah.
delicious. It's a fact.
But also, that's like that's Titus Andronicus. That's
Yeah.
like serving your enemies their loved ones or whatever. It's it's intense. I in no world saw that coming.
I
Yeah.
talk to people to this day about this movie, and they, I guess, have blocked that out of
You
their
do?
mind.
Yeah, I forgot.
No one knows who has seen this movie that happened. Nobody believes it. That they chop up, cook, and then eat
I feel like
the man.
that like it was burned into my mind.
Mm.
Like in The Help when she like cooks her a pie of like her own shit or
That is-
whatever. It's like it's because it's gross that it's like stuck in there.
That's nice. This is wilder
Yeah.
than putting shit in a pie.
Oh, it is definitely wilder.
Oh, but
I'm
you
just
don't
saying.
realize it yet.
But in earlier in the movie, when Frank disappears, right after the frying pan to the back of the head, the next scene is a fucking meat cleaver
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
it's
down
like
on meat.
chopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that
I
child.
was shook
Yeah.
by that
And the
shot.
child is watching. The little kid's just sitting there, and he's like literally chopping up a person.
Yeah, and this is also like, is this like the beginning of like I guess like VHS stores and stuff like that, and so it was banking on the ability to be able to be rewatchable, kind
Yeah.
of like it was finally at that age of like we could start doing that, and so
Mhm.
that was really smart. That was really interesting and
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, they fed it to the investigator, and then Kathy Bates and Ninny go see Whistle Stop. And on Ruth's grave, we see Ruth's grave. There's a jar of honey, fresh flowers, and a note that says, "I'll always love you, the bee charmer." And so we know that Iggy's still alive.
Or a ghost.
Or just poltergeist, right? Poltergeist can touch stuff. I had this discussion with someone else the other day. 'Cause I don't know if ghosts can touch stuff. And that's the end of the movie. All right.
Well, I read that in the book, like Ninny and Iggy are not the same person, but in the movie they intended them to be the same.
Right.
That
Yeah, I
makes
have that. I have that written
no
down.
sense
Yeah.
whatsoever in any way. Not canon. I don't believe it.
That they are
they're
the
the same
same
person?
person. Yeah. I also. It doesn't make any
That's
sense.
a very dumb thing that contradicts every other line of
Yes.
dialogue in the movie.
Yes. Yes. But it was like he was thinking of something. So let's talk about.
It was like, what a twist.
What a twist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Let's get into because I kind of get into that with in my notes here of so talking about like the critical consensus was people liked it, but they had issues with how it like pretty much with how it diverted from the novel. Pretty much all their issues were how they had diverted it from the novel. It has only a 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I was pretty surprised. It is pretty good, but I was still like, with how much I love this movie.
Yeah, I thought it was
cool
also
baby.
more popular like when it came out. Like I thought it would have a higher rating.
Yeah, but you know, it's also pre like Rotten Tomatoes like aggregating for old like critical like I don't know how much I trust it, but yeah, the criticisms were how it diverted from the novel, which were like the two big ways where the lesbian romance is explicit in the novel.
Mhm.
Like it's not a doubt. It's not
Yeah.
longing looks.
Yeah.
They're in a
Yeah.
relationship. They're in
Mhm.
love.
Like they were like infidelity. They were like
Yeah, like the scene where Ruth is dying and she tells Iggy, "I want you to settle down," is such a slap in the face to their character development.
Yeah.
It's such an insult to both themselves and the viewer.
Yeah. And there's in the audio commentary for the movie, the director acknowledges the relationship and points out that a scene between Iggy and Ruth engaging in a food fight in the cafe is intended to be seen as symbolic lovemaking.
I read that on the
fucking
movie's
cop
Wikipedia
out.
page,
Yeah.
and that's awful sex. That's
Yeah,
bad
what?
sex. Grady walks in the middle of it, and they start
Yeah.
throwing food at him. Gross.
Exactly, like they like wipe the whatever
Yeah.
like down his face. It's like
Man.
I read that too after that.
Maybe
I was like,
he's
in no
never
way did
had
I get
sex.
it.
He's
In
Yeah.
no way
He
did I get that was
He's
supposed to be
like
symbolic
unsexy.
for sex.
It's very obvious he has no idea what a lesbian relationship is like. So.
He's like, I
He
think
doesn't
this is
know
what
what
they
any
do, but I'm not
relationship is
sure.
like.
Yeah, he doesn't know how lesbian
Yeah.
sex could possibly work. Surely
Yeah.
it's like that.
It's just a
You
food
just
fight.
rubbing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you do.
Yikes. Oh man. And then the second was that Iggy and Ninny are not the same person. Yeah, it's really
They can't-
forced
yeah.
at the end. But kind of like a big way to it makes sense because while Fanny Flagg she wrote the novel and she signed on to do the screenplay, she only ended up writing 70 pages of it.
Yeah.
And it didn't couldn't complete it. She just felt weird. And the director then took it on himself to
Oh,
finish
he
it.
finished there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, and it took him like 5 years, I think is what it said.
That's too long.
It should have been way
It
better.
could have been better,
It should
yeah.
have taken 5 years.
Yeah.
to finish it. But I think, to me, that feels like it probably explains what happened there with like how it diverged and didn't really make sense and had these weird, kind of dumb, like twists of like they're the same the whole time.
I don't know.
Like,
That's
no.
not really an excuse. You already had the book.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't have to invent new things to try and make it seem cool.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get why the romance was diluted. Like,
Yeah.
Also,
That-
they won a GLAAD award for like lesbian content.
which makes sense in 1991.
Yes,
that
it
was
does.
the
But it
best.
was like the I want to find like the quote from this person.
While you do that, I have a question of, do we relate to this movie? Is it relatable? I relate
Is
with
it
it.
relatable?
Yeah.
I think it's relatable
Yeah.
in some ways. Yeah.
It's yeah, I think it's relatable on kind of like a surface level. Just like, you know, there's tragedy in the movie and there's tragedy in life, and it's a really affirming
Yeah, I think that's
story.
on a deep level.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
is
surface
it.
level.
Well, like
Yeah.
of like the over like a grand theme. I think is kind
Yeah.
of like.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
You
What
meant
I
like,
meant,
yeah,
like,
not-
on
yeah,
There's a
not
lot of-
to
yeah.
minimize.
There's
the
a lot of
No.
themes
Yeah.
in it that are just resonate with your life in general because
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
portrayal of life.
What I was gonna say next was I think a lot of the individual characters in the movie are not super well fleshed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Ruth in particular, lots of the
Yeah,
characters of
she's
color
just
and,
there,
and
yeah.
the sort of Ninny Evelyn
Uh-huh.
side plot.
And Frank even.
Yeah, even Frank. is-
Just
Yeah.
a
it's
villain.
actually really it's like mostly Iggy is
Yeah, we
the
get Iggy.
is the only
which
real
Yeah.
fleshed out character, which I maybe
Kind
is
of.
fine because the movie is sort of about her.
I guess sort of, but I even feel like hollowness in Iggy. It's just
Yeah.
like something bad happened to her when she was young, and
Mhm.
she's a lesbian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There were a lot. They were doing a lot though. There were a lot of characters.
yeah, it
so
was a
tough
lot of movie to handle.
to do
Yeah, it's better
a
than
lot of-
Valentine's Day.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we had a lot of moving around, but they did it better.
Sorry, Christy, that you had to watch Valentine's Day. You're a star. Okay, I found this quote though.
Okay.
Okay, so the GLAAD executive director at the time said lesbians are invisible in Hollywood, and then they said Fried Green Tomatoes, filmmakers may have wanted to tone down the lesbian content. Too bad. But we recognize these women as lesbians, and giving the award is a way for us to acknowledge that these are lesbians.
Oh wow, that is
In 1992, this article was
That's
posted.
awesome.
Yeah.
I like that.
because I had seen that it had won that award, but I didn't. I guess I didn't read an article about it, and I was just sort of like, why? When this is such a sort of like
Yeah.
sterilized view.
Well, because I'd never read the book, so I didn't realize that. Because I read about it, and I was like, oh, they were like, it's explicit, like
Yeah.
they're clearly lesbians.
Yeah.
And I was like, weird that they didn't
Uh-huh.
transfer that over. But then I was like, also it was the 90s, so I guess
But I mean, like, the book came out. Like,
yeah, but
so-
the
Yeah.
book was there.
You
I
had
don't
the
know. I think
content,
we
like,
just
and
accept
it was
things.
loved,
Do we just
like-
accept things in books more than in film and television?
Maybe. Well, I guess, yeah,
Which
it
is
is. It is
odd.
always kind of, like, on the forefront of, like, I guess, innovation, kind of, like, written media. Like,
Yeah.
Also, books don't make money.
Good
So
word.
you have to
It
gear
just- you
movies
have to,
towards
like-
lots of people, and
Yeah.
the majority of people aren't okay
usually
with that.
seek out books, and
Yeah, and
movies are just kind of like, oh yeah.
They are way more easily accessible. It's
Yeah.
like even just like from a literacy.
Although I was surprised in the movie that they were willing to have like the vagina inspection scene, even though they sort of milked it for laughs. Like they had a group of women who were about to like have like a masturbation like learning experience, and yet they couldn't say the word lesbian.
Yeah, it is
It's
very
weird.
odd. Well, I guess because the only way he really knew how to deal with serious topics was to make fun of them.
Yeah.
I guess the things he didn't understand. So
Yeah.
Yikes, that is
that's real.
John. You need help.
Well, that's real.
Uh,
Yeah, we.
Sure. Oh, do you guys want to know what the Tawanda thing is?
Oh, yeah, I do.
sure.
I don't have like a. It's not. I don't know if it's. Okay, this is what it means. It means peaceful resting place, many waters, or rushing waters.
Where does that originate?
In what?
It says it has Native American roots, is what it says.
Interesting.
And they were saying that the two theories for the meaning of it in the movie specifically is first that Iggy felt like an outsider and was more comfortable around African Americans, and it says that she may have chosen a more African name because it also has like African roots or something too.
Okay.
That she may have chosen that because it was something like opposite of her family, and she like accepted like a lot of black people in her life, and like I don't know, they were like just part of her community or whatever.
Yeah. Which that's a lot more fleshed out in the book too, and they just like
Yeah.
prance over
They
it.
they
in
don't
the
explain it at
movie.
all in the movie.
Yeah.
And another thing is that it may be like just like female empowerment. So just like
Yeah.
saying that.
Neat.
I don't know.
So it's a thing that like originated within the world of the movie. It's not like an external reference that I'm supposed to recognize.
It's not.
It
No,
comes
it has.
from-
It
yeah.
has a meaning.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's
Yeah.
an existing
It
name.
is an
It's
existing
like
Yeah,
a
she
name.
learned it
Like-
from
Yes.
that place, is what they think.
Oh,
is
okay.
from,
Yeah. But
African culture.
it within the movie, it's not. Yeah, it's not like specific to the movie, but it's just like
not also
something that
explained.
they use in the movie and don't explain.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, but the movie, it takes on a lot of like, it takes on racism and sexism. It takes on ableism, right? Like
Mhm.
even and body image issues. But homophobia is like the one area that it tries to kind of take on that it completely like drops the ball, which really confused me a lot. That I really love the movie, like I do like legitimately really love the movie, but the only representation I saw from what they tried to take on was like, I'm fat, so is Kathy Bates. I can jazzercise, I guess, and knock down a wall. I can listen to an old woman tell me a
Are
story.
you gonna get like? Are you gonna get one of those little like tiny
Step-
trampolines?
yeah,
Ooh.
I
You're like,
do love the trampoline. I have many a day looked up trampolines for my bedroom.
They're fun.
They're super fun, but there was so much opportunity in this film. There's
Yeah.
so much, and I just like thinking like the fact that it was like a man that directed this, like that he couldn't tackle it.
Yeah.
But also it's like that's not true. Like everyone has the capacity to tell and interpret a story. I think everybody has that in them. I think it's smart to acknowledge, like, if you don't understand something, to then reach out to that community or to somebody that does. I think that's a really smart thing to do, which is like, I think of Wes Anderson with Isle of Dogs. Like, he had a whole team of people, like, because he wanted to do something that, in a culture that he wasn't a part of, but, like, admired and sees obvious value in telling that story. And so I don't want to say that it's because a man made this movie that it, like, didn't do well enough, or, like, didn't do well enough to be honest to, like, female queer stories, because he's not a queer female. Yeah. But, I don't know. Like,
yeah, I think because there was somebody else too that was like helping him write it before, like, the writer of the book came on.
oh, the woman
too.
who wrote the adaptation for Annie.
Yeah, and then so I think he, like, genuinely tried to, like,
Oh, yeah, to
put
reach
something
out,
together and, like, be like, hey, help me out, and then, like, it kind of, like, dropped out, so he's like, I'm just gonna do it, I guess.
Just do it.
But, like, yeah, I think he just didn't understand, and, you know, I don't know. It's tough to write about something that you don't understand and don't, like, ask anybody about, don't get any information about.
It's the wrong
understanding
choice.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
he just
do
made
that.
the wrong choice.
Yeah.
And it was the first time he ever directed a movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
He'd done
Yes.
TV shows.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
He had done TV, but he had never done a movie.
Yeah.
This is his first movie.
Yeah.
Which is
not
super
as-
impressive.
And
Yeah.
Let's also not forget that it isn't just that he didn't understand the lesbian content, he actively censored it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He
you're
did.
right.
It's
That
not
is very
just,
important.
it's not just a fumble.
You're right.
No.
He said that. Yeah, he said that. Like, he was like,
It was actively
I
removed.
did this
He made a
on
choice.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to be, like,
Yeah.
palpable or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
whether
I
it
wanted
was
to be, like,
to
sell it to a
palatable
wider
is the word.
audience.
Oh, I did
Yeah.
not. I didn't even.
Or-
Yeah,
think
like
about that.
yeah.
I just hoped that it wasn't.
I guess he didn't think the world was ready for
Yeah.
this lesbian story.
They exist. I think if something exists, we're ready for
Yeah,
it.
like,
That's too
spoiler,
bad.
John, we were ready.
It is not brave filmmaking.
No.
No. He didn't do anything brave.
No.
We already knew about racism and sexism, and we're calling it out actively, so he
Yeah.
took it the easy route.
And it was fucking, honestly, it was the first movie when I saw growing up where I saw, like, a bigger female lead. Like, Kathy Bates, like,
Yeah.
as a, like, sturdy woman. It was, like, it being, like, I've always been a bigger person, and so, like, even as a kid getting to see that was, like, pretty mind-blowing to see, like, oh, this is the lead in this movie. Like, she's, like, the main character, and
Yeah.
she is actively, like, struggling with, like, body issues, which sucks the whole
Yeah.
time. I wish she was just confident the whole time. That would have been great. But I think it was important for me to see, like, the transformation, I guess, of, like, of self-empowerment and confidence,
Yeah.
and that she was built up by another woman who
Mhm.
believed in her without
Yeah.
even really knowing her, and was just like, you're great. What are you doing? Just go
Yeah.
be great.
It is a good story of, like, females, like, uplifting each
Oh,
other.
yeah,
you
it
know?
is. That's
So
great.
that's
That's
nice.
wonderful. It is really nice. It did get 2 Oscar noms.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. For the woman who played Ninny, who is a super famous actress that I'm completely forgetting. I'm sorry.
I also forget her name.
And then was it a song or something? I don't remember. Sorry,
I
you
knew
guys.
about the
Well,
actress, but I
I
don't
got
know.
it. I'm on it.
It doesn't matter.
Google it yourself,
Yeah, I got it.
listener.
Jessica,
coming
what's
here for
her
the-
name? Yeah, Jessica Tandy.
No, Jessica Tandy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Please
let's
God,
wrap
don't let it
up.
be best screenplay.
It's adaptation. Yes. It is.
Oh
Yeah,
An
it is.
adapted
Yeah.
screenplay.
Best writing adaptation. Man, the Academy doesn't know what they're doing.
They
Whatever.
should have, man. Could have been Quentin. You got Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino remade Friday
Oh,
Night Fans.
shit.
Man, I call every police. I don't trust them, but I trust them for getting him. Thank you to Mac and Sarah for
You're
coming.
welcome.
You're very
All right,
welcome.
Thanks for coming out of your bedrooms for this. And I want to thank everyone for listening, and especially everyone who shared my last episode. There were so many of you. It was really sweet. I'm really grateful that people are supporting me. I'm doing this because I just want to do it with my pals, talk about movies. Okay, that's it. I've been your friendly neighborhood fat friend, Allie. I'll talk at you in a couple weeks. Bye.